So I'm ready when you are, Mr. Glancy. Are we going to go?
We're ready to go.
Okay. All right. The first thing that I would ask is that we stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everyone would join me.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Glancy, I'm going to ask you to do a roll call for the subcommittee members.
Randy Atkins,
Here.
Gary Duckball,
Here.
Molly Earl is not here, Cale Grindle,
Here.
Ed Hartman,
Here.
Nolan Holloway,
Here.
Bud Shelton.
Here.
Okay. All right. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. This is a subcommittee meeting to review a data center ordinance draft. This is a volunteer committee. No one is getting paid to serve here this evening. The subcommittee is composed of 3 community members. Molly Early is not with us this evening, but Bud Shelton is to my left, and Nolan Holloway to my right are community members of this committee. And then we have 4 APC members. That would be Ed Hartman to the right. We have Gary Duckwall in the middle here, and we have Cale Grindle on the end, and I am Randy Atkins, and I'll be conducting the meeting. The subcommittee decisions are non-binding. We are just a recommending body that will go to the Area Planning Commission. Our goal is to review the ordinance draft by section or page, honor community input, and discuss and revise the draft if needed. We will target ending tonight's meeting at 8 o'clock. We will schedule another subcommittee meeting if needed. We ask you come to the podium, state your name, and sign the sign-in sheet with your name and address if you choose to share. We ask you keep comments specific to the section being discussed, and please be respectful of others who may choose to share as well. Comments not relevant to the ordinance draft can be made during a later agenda item when we open it up for general public input. Once we have reviewed and discussed the ordinance and made revisions if needed, it will be presented to the APC in a public hearing for their review and recommendation. Upon receipt of an APC recommendation, the data center ordinance will be presented to the commissioners for their approval. Anyone have any questions about the overview of this evening's meeting? Okay, so what we're going to ask is that any comments that the public would like to make in regard to the pages or the information that we're discussing in the ordinance, we would ask that you do that once the public comment is opened. If you have general comments that you would like to make in regard to data centers, we're going to ask that you hold those to the end. And at the close of the meeting, then we will open it up for anything that the public would like to share with us. But we're really trying to stay on task. This is our 3rd meeting, and we're only on page 12 of 37. So we're going to try, to move through this pretty quickly. And so we have reviewed up to page 12 in 2 other meetings. So with that being said, we're going to start with letter H on page 12, lighting, screening, and site design. So subcommittee members, I'm going to open it up to you folks for any comments that you have in regard to letter H.
Do we have any businesses within the county that already adhere to these specifications?
There's some signage, like for business signs, some stipulations around those, and for billboards, but this is a little more specific.
Is that,
There wasn't something that would directly, I could just reference to another section of the ordinance.
but we already have ordinance in place for existing stuff?
I'm sorry.
Do we already have something in writing, ordinance or whatever making those stipulations?
Like for business signs,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Is this very similar then?
Like I said, for what we wrote here for the data center, it wasn't applicable, just simply reference those other ordinance pieces. If that makes sense. Like H2, the foot candle at the property line, I think that's something that, that's more unique and is not, there's no place in the ordinance currently that addresses it in such a way. Because we don't have lighting that would be at that kind of scale from just a business sign, if that makes sense.
Do we have a means of measuring 0.5 foot candle?
Yes, there's equipment to do that.
There's equipment to
Don't
do that.
simply, I don't have any, but.
Okay. Okay.
And the 0.5 is kind of a standard issue,
Okay.
and that can be changed if we'd like. Again, most of the numbers and things in here are just placeholders.
Okay. So we could put any.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the lighting is to be fully shielded and directed downward. That's what number 1 says. Now, when we talk about property line, here again, I know we've had some discussions about that in the past. Have we drawn a conclusion in regard to what we're going to consider a property line? That is where their property begins, correct? Regardless of where the facility is actually setting, it is the property line of the owner of that facility.
Exactly, yes. And I believe that's the way we have it stated in the definition.
Okay. Okay. Any questions?
So that half a foot candle is to their property line. It's not in adjacent property. I mean, it's the data center's property line, correct?
Not to exceed
Right,
beyond their property line.
right.
Okay. And I'm not sharp enough on lighting to know what a half a candle would look like, half a candle foot would look like. Anybody have any research on that? Okay, so that's something that we'll put a question mark as to try and figure out what that might actually look like in reality. Okay,
That's a standard unit that a lot of ordinances use, so it's a pretty general standard unit to
okay,
tell you this is what it looks like.
okay. Okay, so looking at number 3, security fencing up to 10 feet in height is permitted. Fencing adjacent to residential property shall incorporate, but see, that's a word I'm not familiar with, screening or equivalent visual buffering. Okay. So 10 foot in height, we're assuming chain link,
No,
solid.
well, I think it should be a screen that prevents sound from going through it,
Okay,
which means it would have to be solid, because sound will go through any little cracks or small opening.
Are you talking almost like an interstate wall?
You've seen those, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one. There's other types. They could be wood with a panel inserted beneath it, inside it, and wood slats on both sides with a sound barrier in that.
so we want sound and visual barrier.
Yes.
Sound and visual barrier.
So that would be a. Also, we talked about, I know, an 8-foot high berm.
Okay,
Of,
earth berm?
Earth berm, 8 foot high, and then the fence on top of it. Because a low fence won't stop much sound. So it's got to be high as well.
Okay,
So if you had an 8 foot high earth berm and a 10 foot high fence above that, then you're getting out, 18 feet to where it's going to be hard to see over it, and it's going to stop a lot of the sound,
okay,
which we were trying to get to a very low sound so that people could sleep at night. bearing in mind this thing's a 24-hour-a-day operation. The sound's gonna be all the time. So, I don't know, I don't remember where we ended up. Did we end up at 40 decibels? Do you remember?
I don't think we came up with a number.
We were just kind of around there. We wanted to get to 30 at night within a residence so that people could sleep. Because the World Health Organization level that suggested you could get sleep, good restful sleep at 30 decibels or less. So to get there, you gotta be fairly low outside the house.
I made 40 with a question mark. So we
That's
must-
what I have, is 40 with a
40
question
with
mark.
a question mark, okay. So anyway, these things work together, the security fence and the sound
Okay,
dampening.
Is the lighting within the wall or within the fence?
I would say so,
No,
but I don't know that it has to be.
no lighting outside the fence.
That's a good question. If you had lighting outside the fence, it definitely had to be shining towards the property.
Shielded,
Yeah, and then,
Well, that comes
It's
to
18
what's
feet.
at the property line,
The half
not
foot.
the half-foot candle.
yeah,
However they get there,
That's up to them.
that's up to them.
so do we want to contain the lighting within this land earth berm and,
I think that I would like to, first off, I'd like to know what a half a foot candle means.
okay,
And then I think if they abide by that, then
okay.
that's sufficient.
If we were going to abide by that, wouldn't we want that also at 20 feet up?
yeah, it'd have to be pretty high if you got an 18-foot high fence. You'd have pretty tall poles to have that light on it anyway. So maybe people will make the conclusion you put them on inside the fence. Unless you
Just so it doesn't exceed the
yeah.
half a foot candle.
So everybody okay with the earth berm and fence on top of that? Committee members? Okay,
Yeah.
at least as a starting point.
Yep. As long as I understand what a half a foot candle is.
Well, we're gonna have to figure that out, Nolan. I don't know that any of us can answer that one tonight.
May I?
Yes.
I'll answer that question. So a 0.5-foot candle is about 5 times brighter than a full moon. So full sunlight is 10,000-foot candles. The typical office is 30 to 50-foot candles. A living room is 5 to 20. So a typical parking lot is 1 to 5-foot candles. So, I mean, if we want to lower it, we can always lower it.
How many times a full moon?
5 times.
5 times a full moon.
Seems too bright.
That seems too bright.
Let's start at a quarter foot.
I don't think he's talking about the full moon illuminating the ground. That's just what we can see in the
A
sky.
bright full moon would be 0.1-foot candles.
So half of that.
0.25?
Start there.
We can start there.
Okay,
0.25?
0.25.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, moving to number 4. 2 staggered rows of evergreen screening shall be provided along residential boundaries unless the board approves an equivalent screening plan. Are we okay with that? Now, do we want a beginning height of the evergreens? 6 foot?
Yeah, I suppose so.
So the original planting would require a 6-foot evergreen, 2 rows of them. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Folks, when we get to the bottom of page 12, we're going to open it up for public discussion to address any concerns you guys may have on this page. So just to give you some idea that we are planning to receive your input, but we'd like to at least get through the page with the subcommittee members. Okay, moving to number 5, mechanical and electrical yards shall be screened from public roads and adjacent residential property. Now, we don't have any screening description there.
When we're speaking mechanical and electrical, what exactly are we talking about here? Is this a possible substation? Is this where you would have standby generators?
That's what I would think.
Is this not covered by your 18-foot barrier anyways?
I would think you'd want the same screen for that.
I thought the screening was the entire perimeter.
Yeah. I think we would want that to be part of it.
Well, I think it's redundant is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You want to take it out?
I mean, if we're requiring an 18-foot something around the entire perimeter, I think it's just redundant because you're not going to be able to see
Well,
it.
as generators, what it might do is help reduce sound.
Right.
Anything pertaining to the project has to be screened the same as.
Now, they could have these at another site too. Over standby generators. If it were a generating station for electricity like a natural gas turbine. They might have that at a site, a mile away.
So what do you think?
I think you need to include the same screening.
That's the data center.
Can you guys talk in the speakers so we can hear you? Yeah, we can't hardly hear you over here.
Okay, sorry about that.
Right.
Thank you, because we do want you to hear us.
Thank you.
How about in the back? You guys okay back there?
Yeah.
All right, get your teacher voices on, people.
Why don't we just change it to say whatever your earth berm and fencing requirements, just change that to be on any and all data center property and structures and whatever, however you want to phrase that, but
Anything pertaining to the project.
an all-encompassing. That kind of covers your bases there.
Include it.
So, Secretary, you want to word that?
Roll it out. Give me some wording.
Hale?
Whatever his verbiage is for his earth berm and fence on top of that, make it encompass all buildings and grounds, facilities, structures, stations, whatever, all encompassing.
Anything pertaining to the data center.
Has to be within that berm.
Right.
So,
And fence.
so I'm thinking,
Correct.
the notes I'm gonna put down here, is H5 might just be removed
Yes.
and make sure that everything gets covered in that. So we may have to go back to something else, but I'll make that note, okay?
Yes. Okay, number 6. I'm going to need some clarification on what that's referencing. Would anyone like to do that?
Okay. Building facades shall utilize muted tones and facade modulation to reduce visual bulk. I don't know how much we need this with the screening that we're proposing, but facade modulation is an architectural term where you try and break up a boring big building that might be just all flat-sided and have a few windows in it. You try and break it up with like different landings, or this part juts out above another part. You might have columns, that kind of thing to give it more visual appeal. But if we're putting it behind the 18-foot screen, I don't know that we
Care.
too worried about the appearance of the building. If it just looks like a warehouse, I don't know that would bother us.
I agree. I think number 6 needs taken out.
Agreed.
Everybody go with that? All right, removing number 6 under H. Okay, number 7, lighting and site design shall be arranged to minimize glare, preserve neighboring rural character, and reduce visual intrusion on nearby properties. Here again, are we going to assume that our 18-foot barrier is going to take care of that?
Except for an 18-foot fence is a visual intrusion.
Okay,
I'm not offering a suggestion, I'm just making a comment.
but we are going to
Instead
put
of surround-
evergreens in front of or around the residents that may see that
Exactly.
fence. 2 rows, 6 foot tall. Everybody go with that? So we're taking out number 7?
Well, may I?
Yes.
So what this provides would be the BZA to be able to look at the site design and be able to say, with number 7 included, that does not fit or does not meet number 7, and they need to rework the design.
That's assuming that our 18-foot barrier doesn't work. That gives the BZA the opportunity to require more?
Or to rework the design.
Okay, everybody see the value of that?
Yes.
Okay. You okay with that, Ed?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Todd. We're going to leave 7 in. Okay,
I'm
number
not
8.
trying to make it wordier, I'm just,
No, I think that's good. I think that's thinking to the next level. Okay. A buffer area not less than 25 feet in width shall be provided along all public road frontage and around the complete perimeter of the data center project, except as approved access points unless a different width is specifically approved by the board based on site conditions and equivalent screening effectiveness. I'd change that to 100. Anybody else?
A buffer area meaning what?
Meaning that they're going to be that far away from road frontage. 100.
Like the berm?
The berm or the boom?
It's going to be the screen, where the screening starts.
Yeah.
Where the berm and the fence would be. It's going to be at least 100 feet away from any road frontage.
Well, then we should probably specify 100, whatever distance away from the start of any screening
I'm
material.
not even sure 100's enough,
Yeah, that berm's gonna take up some area.
right?
Yeah.
200. 150.
200 feet. 200 feet's what you're saying, right?
Right.
That may not be too much.
Quarter mile?
200 feet, a quarter mile, you're up to what,
1320.
No. Is it really? Yeah, 1320. No, I don't think you need a quarter mile.
500?
250.
250. I'm sure the community will have something to say about that when the opportunity comes.
Not less than.
Not less than 250.
That's the space for the berm, then.
And then the berm would
Is that what we're
start,
thinking?
berm would start at 250.
Right,
Berm starts after 250.
okay. All right, we good on 8?
The board, is it BZA?
Yes.
Any other comments, subcommittee members on number 8? All right, we'll move to 9.
did you come up with a number?
250,
250.
not less than 250. Okay, so the required buffer area shall include at a minimum a compact evergreen hedge or equivalent low screening material together with an additional row of evergreen trees located behind the hedge or screening material arranged so as to provide year-round visual screening. Now, is this at the property line?
And it says it's in the buffer area. So it's,
So let's define the buffer area so everyone knows.
I think this is redundant per number 4.
I agree.
yeah.
Okay, 9 comes out.
Yes.
9's out. Okay, number 10, the required buffer screen shall be installed prior to completion of the project. unless seasonal planting conditions require delayed installation, in which case the owner shall provide a bond, letter of credit, escrow assurance, or other financial, we're gonna go to 13, guaranteed acceptable to the county to ensure installation at the next appropriate planting season.
That needs to go back to page 10, section G, number 12, as far as the financial requirements.
Yes.
Strike
So 5A.
credit.
Yeah. I agree. All right.
Everybody go to that? Yes. We're gonna go ahead and do 11 and 12, everyone, and that'll get us through lighting, screening, and design. If you don't mind, please join us on page 13 for 11 and 12.
Do you want to explain that? What we just did?
No,
Okay.
We want you to, Cale, come on.
try to only speak when I fully understand what I'm speaking about.
Do you want to take it?
Is that why you never speak?
No, I don't. I wouldn't.
So,
Ed,
on item H10, we had mentioned that provide a bond, letter of credit, escrow assurance, or financial guarantee acceptable to the county. We're going to take all that out, and it is only going to be acceptable to have a 5A security bond.
Correct.
Which is the highest level of bonding that you can have, and we're not going to accept a letter of credit or anything else. Just to be clear.
okay. So that's why we're taking that out, right?
Right, and replacing it with 5A.
Okay.
So we're taking 11 out and replacing it with 5A. Correct.
No, taking out the bond, letter of credit, escrow, assurance, that terminology out. We're only accepting a 5A bond.
Number 10.
Number 10, bottom of page 12, where it talks about all that stuff. We're just going to do a 5A security bond. Cale, you could have handled that. Clarifying
You did
that.
just fine.
All right, 5A security bond. Okay. So, all right, we are taking all that out. Now, we still want acceptable to the county insurance installations next appropriate planning season. You want that left in?
Yes.
Okay. All right, moving to number 11, page 13. The owner shall maintain all required buffer plantings in healthy and living condition and shall replace a dead, diseased, or failing plant material as needed to preserve the required screening. Irrigation or other maintenance measures shall be provided as reasonably necessary to maintain the required hedge and trees. We definitely want that one in there.
Great.
Okay, number
Hold
12.
on. The shall be provided. I think we should reword that.
Okay,
Shall be, take out provided and shall be used or installed. Because if it's provided, who's providing? It's not gonna be us. Just terminology here, I guess.
talking about irrigation or other maintenance
Yes, irrigation
measures.
or other maintenance measures shall be utilized as reasonably.
Yeah, but who's gonna be right?
It would be necessary.
I'm stuck on the provided part, the word provided.
Necessary to maintain the unit.
Like from who?
Yeah, provided by the facility owner.
Is that more the question?
Yeah, it's just,
By the owner.
shall be required as reasonably necessary.
Provided by the developer.
There,
There you go.
that's what I'm getting at.
Okay,
Or owner.
Yeah, there's three:
Owner.
owner, operator,
owner operator.
developer.
Yeah.
Comment
Those
on my
three.
end.
Developer will go away first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody good with 11?
Yes.
All right, number 12. When fencing is required, the fence shall be located behind the required buffer. Now, unless the board approves an alternate placement that provides equal or greater screening and safety protection. We're gonna take that one out, right? Because we got the fence on top of the earth berm?
Yeah.
Yes?
Agree.
Everybody good with that? 12 comes out. Okay, community members, if you would like to come and share with us under anything dealing with H, lighting, screening, and site design, do we have a sign-up sheet there, Todd, on the podium?
Yes.
Yeah, we'd like for you just to give your name. You don't have to state your address if you would not, if you don't want to do that, you have problems with that.
Don't want anybody knocking at my door, huh?
That's right.
You just put it on the sheet for our records.
Yes, sir.
Can everybody hear us?
Yep.
All right, you guys turn to have that teacher voice on at the podium.
Good evening, folks. My name's Dave Stanley, grew up here. I think it's nice when you try to get something going here, but there's some concerns I have right off. Can you hear me? This coming through? Okay.
Yes.
All right, the security buffer, where you're looking at the screening of sound and visual, you're talking 18 feet between fence and the berm. Well, aren't these buildings 20 and 30 feet tall? And on top of these buildings is where the air conditioning units are humming. So you're looking at, this berm is not going to stop any sound that's emanating 30 feet or more in the air. These AC units are probably 10 feet tall. So you're looking 30, 40 feet in the air. These things are just humming and going out into the environment. That could easily disturb sleep, like this gentleman said. You don't want kids not sleeping because then you're going to have behaviors and poor school grades. That was my concern on H3. H4, I like plants. Well, evergreens, they are slow-ass growing plants. I'll be dead before they get any good quality, because here's the thing. They're B&B, or ball and burlap. They'll get them in at 6 foot. They were cut the season before. It takes at least 2 years to establish the roots on those trees, so they're not going to grow for 2 years. And then they only grow 6 inches to a foot a year. I'll be dead before they get any height, because I'm 65.
Suggestions?
Huh?
Would you recommend a different species?
Right now, I can't off the top of my head. I just came to my mind when you were talking about type of tree. I mean, you look out there, they're great windbreaks. You see out in towns, people put them on the west side. They put them out when they first moved in that house. It's 20, 30 years later than when they're really good windbreaks. You know, I'd have to look into what would be. And then to get back on this, which is everybody's concern, is the water. Well, guess what? We're just dragging more water to irrigate all these things. So those are my 3 major concerns. The sound being really up there, slow growing trees, and then we're adding more taking of the water. And so those are one things I'd like to, you know, how we can address. And I will rattle it through my head. And this is the first time I came to the meeting. If we have another one, I'll be here. And if I have an idea, I'll be happy to provide it.
Thank you very much for your input.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
There's a hedge at Culver's Restaurant at the back of their parking lot. That thing must be 15, 20 foot tall. It's an evergreen type hedge, but it's not pine or fir or spruce or anything like that. It almost has like flat green. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like kind
Anybody know that hedge?
just like an arborvitae almost, or?
Yeah, like one of those. Yeah, those are fast growing.
Which is, I believe it's still an evergreen family.
Yeah, yeah, it stays green year round. That would be a good one.
Hello, gentlemen. My name's Rhonda Coleman, and from everything I've saw on the internet, it drains our water. We have salamone, we have micinawall that I would like to see protected. It takes our water. The tree thing, I'm with him, that's not gonna work, they grow too slow. My house is approximately 100 foot long, so I'm glad you added it to 250, because that's gonna be right, and all those people that live out there, their property values are gonna go down. Everybody's property values will go down out there. From the things I saw on the internet, the lights are never ending, they don't stop. They shine. I don't care what kind of protections you're going to put in, they're there. I've watched videos on the internet. It's not good for our community. It's not worth the money. It is not. I hope you guys do some more research because some of you sound like you really don't get what's really happening. I hope you do some more research before all this gets pushed through because you have a lot of concerned citizens here in Grant County about this.
I want to tag on that. I want to make it clear that we are the County Area Planning Commission. And unfortunately, we do not have any control or any influence on the incorporated towns of this county. In other words, when it comes to Gas City, comes to Marion, anything that is within their city limits, we have nothing to say about that. We can only provide a sample of what we, the county folks, believe that a data center should be required to abide by, but that doesn't mean that Marion or Gas City or Upland are going to follow those recommendations. I know that's some misunderstood or not understood, but that is the truth. So if you have concerns about Marion or Gas City, I would strongly encourage you to organize and make sure that you have a voice there. We're giving you a voice at the county level. That's why we're taking the time with the meetings, is that we want to know what the folks in the county think. So
There was
they can,
something else I read too, where our utilities are supposed to be huge. They're supposed to go very up.
Yeah.
Yes, come on up.
that wildlife? Let me come back up.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want everybody to speak from there, so
Yeah,
they're all
I have been reading and it said our utilities are gonna go up. That's gonna be everybody, you guys too, everybody. And then, water, everybody's concerned about the water. But my utilities, things are already sky high for everybody. We're making it. There's people in this room, we're all making it. But are you still banking money every month? So there's no concerns, guys, really.
David Jones. I would have been to the couple earlier ones, but I was out working in the new plant over in Michigan. The berm, it'd probably be best to have about 20 foot tall and have the fencing out about 50, 75 feet out away from it. A lot of the industrial sites do that. I do a lot of power plants, refineries. So they also have like bluish purple entrance lights to parking lots. And then they can have directed lights inward. And some of them can be, they're bright enough inside, but they don't have a brightness outward at a distance. And if they're planning on doing fin-fan chillers on the top of the buildings, kind of like a privacy fencing around the top of the building. That would help keep the resonating sound off.
Talking about the acoustic barrier,
Yeah.
rooftop acoustic barrier.
Sure.
And yeah, it's the best way around. Air-cooled ACC systems, fully sealed, use least amount of water, quietest. It's basically, you got 8 radiators around a 40-foot fan, basically. And it uses the air and the convection to cool. Versus the chillers that might be open loop, one-sided, and run through the water. Tend to be a little bit louder, you'll get the moisture. Acidic areas dripping off into vehicles. It's dirt from the air. It's not dirt from the water and the air is bringing the dust down onto the vehicles. is just run through water. It's not processed water. I know that. But I can give a lot of advice because I've built ACC systems. I built power plants, work on refineries. I do that for a living for like 20 years, so I'm here.
Appreciate your comments. Those are very good. Thank you.
Do you live here in Grant County?
Yeah, over in Mill Township.
Okay.
You know where, you know where 67th Street is?
Not specific.
Over in that Somerset, or Sunset Hills Edition. Back at the back, Ted Road. You know Hopkins? Yeah.
Good.
Yes, I'm Michael Fide. I live out by the airport. I know this is going to be somewhere close to my area. Now, what I'm also thinking about is the noise, which is also what he's speaking of. About 14 years ago, I lived in Upland. I don't live there now. That's where my late wife and I lived. I couldn't live there anymore, so we moved, or I moved. But I don't know if the Gas City Speedway still exists or not. But there was no way to sleep with the windows open in Upland on Friday nights. And I'm that far away from the Gas City Speedway. Anybody that's going to live from Gas City Speedway to my house, which was on the south end of Upland, how are they going to be able to sleep with the noise going on with these? You know, just like he's talking about with the big air conditioning units and everything else, because you could hear the race cars, yeah, and then come around the corner again. And so, yeah, this is something else that's going to have to be addressed on the two. And then, like Miss Rhonda had said, you know, with our water, you know, what are we going to do with that? We're already out there in the county where the farmers, you know, are all upset we don't get enough rain or anything. And then, you know, if they want to take and irrigate any of that, well, no, you got to let these people have it first. No. That's something else that we need to get addressed on. Once again, it had to go further with the noise, because I'm not really sure how it carries like it does, but it carries.
It does under Gas City, or the racetrack too at my house.
Well, we've discussed closed loop systems, which would be the recirculation of water for cooling so that it's not a constant, you know, pull of the water supply. That was in some earlier meetings. So we are taking that into consideration. Anyone else? Good comments. Thank you, folks.
Oh, I want to say one more thing. I read another article today in Ohio, their big data center they have. The fire department was called out there 87 times to help pull beams down. They don't get any, they don't get any tax dollars to take care of that.
Sure.
I'm trying to read.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here, I'm trying to read.
All right, we are going to move on. I'm sorry?
You can't see behind the column.
Oh, yes, sir.
Hi, Randy. My name is Russell Sheets. All of the Eastern Seaboard has shut down new data centers, all but Florida, and I think Michigan and South Dakota, until they get further how the water is treated and everything into the ground. And they've had problems in Ohio and Oregon, and they're suing for billions of dollars. So I don't think we should have it in Grant County. So that's what I think.
We don't want it. We don't want it.
Thank you.
Yeah, they shut everything down on the Eastern Seaboard except Florida. And the president wants the data centers because of China. But see, China does not care about their environment. They just want to get ahead of the United States.
Would anyone like to respond in regard to why we feel the need of it for an ordinance? I don't know that I want to. Ed, would you like to go there?
Well, what we're trying to develop is an ordinance that protects the residents, first and foremost. That's what we're looking for. When you do that, many of the horror stories that you're hearing about data centers in other states and other cities, other counties, we are trying to keep from having that horror story happen here.
Yeah, but
By limiting the sound. If you were here for all meetings, you would know we really strictly want to limit the sound. We're providing some guidelines on how we think that could be done, but ultimately we expect them to do that or not be here. Sound's a big thing. Water's a huge
the
thing
water's the biggest thing.
because we want to limit water by requiring a closed loop system, which means it recycles the same coolant, not necessarily water.
Yeah, but if
Now,
the water goes through and
Another thing.
it comes back into the public,
no, it doesn't. That's a closed loop system. It
Yeah.
doesn't leave. It's the same coolant used over and over again, like the antifreeze in your car. Your engine develops a lot of heat.
yeah.
It has a very good cooling system for the size of it. Anyway, what that means also is if you make them do a closed loop system, that will consume far more electricity than a system that just pumps water in and out and dumps it in a ditch when it's done. Those are the horror stories you hear about.
Yeah.
Millions of gallons of water used because it's just pumped through. Sometimes chemicals are added to stop corrosion. But, okay, so there's a trade-off. You use less water, but you're gonna use a lot more electricity.
Yeah.
We've also contemplated, and I don't know whether we finally decided for sure or not, but maybe we have, that they must bring their own electricity, that they will not connect to the grid and use our electricity or drive up our costs by making a lot of infrastructure be provided from the grid. That gets shared with the community.
But
Those
what
are the
if
horror
one of the
stories
pipes
driving
break?
up.
What if one of the pipes break and everything, like water pipes that break all the time and go out into the public and into the drainage system?
Well, that would be the same thing as an EPA spill.
Yeah.
Those are regulated.
You can't really stop a spill.
Yes, you can. But-
Cleanup. You
Yeah,
can't-
up
And then
to a
there's-
point,
and then
up
there's
to a
cleanup.
point you can
Yes,
stop it.
there's equipment for stopping a spill, but you gotta have it deployed immediately. I mean,
Because you can't stop a
companies have
pump
had
right away.
spills. Companies have had spills.
Yeah.
I mean, companies even delivering to a factory can have a hose break
Yeah.
on their tanker truck and
Yeah.
have a spill. And I've seen that happen where I worked, and I've seen us rapidly deploy spill containment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not impossible. And you want to keep it from going to a drain. But anyway, that's a little off subject, but those things are part of the regulations,
We
EPA
also-
guidelines as well.
Yeah, you also might mention the high impact district that we have none of in Grant County at this time.
Right. In the earlier meetings, we talked about a high impact zone, which is a new zone. It's also in our solar ordinance where there must be a rezoning for an area that is not considered good land for other uses. It is a poor area, so to speak, for ground. There were several stipulations on the high impact zone, but the Area Plan Commission would have to do a rezoning for any potential data center. That would bring them into the loop of approving it. That would also bring in the commissioners, and it would also bring in the Board of Zoning Appeals. So you've got 3 boards looking at this to get approval. That's the most rigorous approval process you can have.
Yeah, but I mean, it's what I say, the whole eastern seaboard's shut. Brand new one's down.
There are thousands of data centers on Data Center Alley in Virginia, outside of Washington. They are not shut down. They are operating. Thousands of them, big ones as well.
How big is this facility that you're wanting to build?
I don't want to build it.
How big is
I actually would hope they want to go somewhere else after reading our ordinance.
You know, as Bud indicated, the high impact zoning, that's going to be a big hurdle because we don't have an established high impact area in Grant County. So until there's one that's determined, we have no place for them to build in the unincorporated area. We can't speak for the incorporated areas of Marion, Gas City, and the small towns because we don't have any jurisdiction over them. And I know you folks are sitting there saying, well, we don't want data centers. Why are we doing this? Well, because we believe that if we don't have an ordinance and the state or the federal government come in and say, you're going to have data centers, we want to make sure we have protection in place.
And not use their ordinance.
Yeah, and not use what they hand to us. We want to develop an ordinance based on the input of the people of Grant County who live in the unincorporated area. That's why we're going through the circus that we're going through, is to make sure that we have taken into account the protections that we can build in for you folks. We're afraid that if we don't have an ordinance that takes that into consideration, it's going to get shoved down our throat. And we don't want that. We want to make sure that we've got protections.
Can we extend the buffer zone to 250 miles? Sorry, sir, just putting a little left.
We cannot make it impossible for them to build. That's what gets us sued. We also do not have the authority to say no data center.
Right.
But that's what the ordinance is
Well,
for.
okay, we can all end up going crazy over the noise it's gonna produce, because those things produce 90 decibels of noise. That's what the standard is for them. The human ear can only tolerate, which 85 decibels is tolerable, but it's almost like a torture, like what they would have done in wars and things like that. That level of noise also creates Parkinson's disease. It creates brain tumors, just to name a few.
So if we have our noise limitations at a level below that and they can't meet that, guess what? They can't come.
Yeah, that's
Right. Well, and I'm just saying that because of the last, which I was here the last meeting, and it's a big concern because noise does travel, especially in farmland. Just like noise travels over water, noise will travel over farmland as well. And it does have effect upon animals as well as all living creatures, you know what I mean? And so I'm just concerned about that. I work in healthcare and I see things all the time. And I don't want to be, it's my job, but I don't want to be someone who's affected that seriously by something like that.
And we don't want anyone to be affected either.
Right.
And that's our goal, is to try and set those parameters, those limits to protect that.
Yeah, because, I mean, everything they do is very negative and serious. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm sure you do, but you're just hearing input.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but what's your name?
Damaris. I was born and raised here. So,
First name?
Damaris Matthews.
That's what he does.
Gotta write it down.
I did.
I just want to make an observation with what Russell said. There might be a way to put another regulation or whatever on the cooling systems, that they all have an independent reservoir. If there are deemed to be many cooling processes or repetitive sequences, that they all have their own specific reservoir to keep it small and maybe even include spill control.
So where would that be? And what we cooling and water use?
Yeah, and we don't have to cover it, but we can definitely do some research to see if that's an advantage or what that is.
We're going to consider reservoir and spillage. Okay, yes, sir.
That may have already been discussed before. You already, about the wastewater system, I seen that was on the pages before, and the electrical supply, so that is yet to be determined. What type, are they going generator, are they coming off the grid? That is yet to be decided. Correct?
Yes.
And the water is supposed to come from Fairmount, and Gas City is to handle the wastewater.
Fairmount.
Where would the water come from?
I'm not sure we're on the right subject.
Okay, it would be the data center. They gotta have water out there.
Yeah, I worked for
I seen one of the proposals was that they was gonna build a water tank with a well system, with a well field, or have Fairmount or Matthew somewhere, someplace over in that area is gonna supply the water, and then the wastewater is gonna go to Gas City.
That's news to me.
Yeah, we don't have any knowledge of a data center in that area.
I read what was wrong. I'm just asking.
I don't know where, I think the biggest,
That was for the.
Okay, my concern is we have, anytime, even if you have.
exit 255?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was at a proposed one, at exit
255.
255.
Yeah,
That was
2669.
This isn't 255?
No.
No, we're building an ordinance to protect or to address issues of the whole county, wherever they would be built, not specifically for that site. We don't have any knowledge of any specific site where a data center would be proposed to build at this time. I know there's speculation, but
Well, okay, that's what I thought this was about.
no, we are building an ordinance that will address the whole county wherever somebody may want to build.
My only concern is that anytime you have an industrial facility, whether it's a closed loop system or open loop system, are they gonna have waste, where's that wastewater gonna go to? It has to be treated somewhere before it can be released.
Right, yeah, and those are things that we will take into account as we move through this. Thank you. Well, did he sign in?
Did you sign in, sir?
Did you sign in for us?
Sign in for us.
Okay, we are going to move on to signage on page 13, number 1. Page 13. Everybody okay with number 1?
No.
All right, Ken, what you got?
According to our Constitution, a government cannot restrict free speech of any person, business, whatever.
This is informational.
So let's expand on this. What are we talking about as far as advertising?
I think I'm going to take the risk and we're going to leave that in there. I don't know that we can just allow.
Well, what do you mean? Because if they're advertising their company logo, we can't tell them they can't do that. Every business can do that.
So, may I?
Yes, please, Todd.
So number 2 is talking about the manufacturer's name and the equipment information. Those kinds of things are permitted. What we're talking about, and I'll give you an example of along the interstate, we only allow so many billboards within so many miles. And we've all been traveling before, Florida and so on, and there are places that allow more billboards per square mile.
Is that Indiana code?
That's within our,
County ordinance?
County ordinance. So
Okay.
the county ordinance is when you see that, you get to places where there's a lot of advertising. So there is a process in which you can limit advertising, and or you can say advertising can't be in this space. And that's, I assume since they do that, that's already been challenged from a constitutional standpoint. But I see where you're coming from. We don't want the fencing to be advertisement.
Sure.
That's kind of the point of this.
So
We don't want to, well, yeah,
third party advertising,
right.
billboards, that we should
Do
specify.
you think that we should put that, third
Yes.
party?
No
Okay.
third party advertising.
Yeah.
Do you think that makes it clear?
Agreed.
I like it. Thank you.
So the last shall contain or be used to display third party advertising.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. About number 2. Anybody see any problem with number 2?
No.
No.
Go with number 2. Okay, number 3. Now, these notification signs are in the event that a parcel is going to possibly become a data center. Is that correct?
Correct. And I think the last line there, unless a different time period is approved by the board or established by future ordinance amendment, is unnecessary.
Okay.
I mean,
I agree.
you can file for a variance if you don't, if you want something different, possibly. And there's several places in the ordinance it says approved or established by future ordinance amendment. I don't think that's needed at all.
So from the comma,
Everybody knows that amendments can be made to an ordinance anytime, but we don't have to put it out there with frequently that we welcome ordinance amendments.
Now, you don't have any criteria for the notification sign. Do we want criteria as far as size, what it should say? Or do we?
Number 5 addresses that.
Oh, okay, number 5's got that. Thank you, Kale. All right, so we got that covered on number 5. 45 days enough? So basically what we're talking about, folks, is if there's going to be one, they're going to post a sign, they're going to tell us that that's what they're thinking before it actually happens.
This is to give a little transparency to this process, which has been done frequently in some communities in secret, if possible, to stop opposition from getting organized and opposing these data centers or solar farms,
I think
etc.
Why don't we just take out the 45 days and put it at time of application?
up and
Because as soon as the government knows about it, the people should know about it.
Yes.
So we can protest.
True.
Well, as soon as land is leased for this, people have a right to know.
Are they clearing trees out there already? Somebody said they were clearing trees out there already.
I don't know.
There is
where out
no
there
site
is.
yet that anybody knows of.
So one turns out there, go ahead.
Again, the county can't do anything that the city is planning. We don't have anything to do with it. If Marion's putting a data center together, we don't have any part of that. We cannot stop them. We don't have any legal basis to stop them. So this is just for the county. And the county does not know any of a data center coming.
So what we're saying is we want to know within 45 days that someone has signed an agreement and 6 months before an application for a special exception.
Now, that application for a special exception is gonna happen immediately when they fill out the first application because it's gonna be required special exception, correct?
Well, yeah, but usually the first thing that should happen is rezoning to the high impact zone.
Okay.
So maybe we need
Before
to
that.
change this a little bit. Yeah,
Prior to that.
prior to, yeah.
Prior to rezoning?
Prior to special exception, I think you should have the rezoning.
Okay, I agree.
Okay. So then maybe it should be prior to the application.
So, Cal, I like what Ed said. Let's leave that in there because once there's an option to lease or purchase agreement, we want to post it then. Because who knows when they'll come up with an application. They could wait a year before they ever file the application.
Well, sure. But I think I maybe asked this in the first meeting. I don't remember. We ran into this with solar. We didn't know that we didn't know they had lease agreements.
Right.
Right. Now, they're required to file them, not a purchase agreement, but a lease agreement, and it's required to go into a special file at the recorder office. Correct?
That's state law.
Yeah. That didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
But,
That's right. Didn't happen.
but we know that now.
They got filed with everything else.
So this is our,
Can't find it.
Yes.
this is how we're gonna find out.
This is old some meat right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have, once this gets adopted, the recorder will be informed that if, now, the difference between data center and solars is they're doing purchase agreements for the land. They're not doing lease agreements. And there isn't anything that requires that a purchase agreement be filed with the recorder, only a lease agreement. So that's why we're gonna make them post it. Okay, so everybody good with 3 then with those changes? Todd, you good?
I would just say that we need to remember this particular item when we get to enforcement. And I don't think I have it anywhere else. And I'm thinking out loud here, in the zoning piece. So if they do not post within this time frame, and then they come to the APC for the rezoning, does that automatically
Push them out 6 months.
push them out because they can't get the zone?
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay? I hope we all see what we're doing here. Okay, but we need to make sure that we have that in writing. So that's
Meaning that if they don't meet the criteria, then they have to wait 6 months before they can come back.
Yeah.
If they don't stand up the sign.
Right.
Not less than 6 months before the submission of an application for rezoning.
Mhm.
That's how we ought to change that wording a little bit.
Okay. Our goal's the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, anybody have any problem with 5 and 6? That's the criteria, as Cale indicated, for the notification signs.
Sorry, 6A, is that necessary? Don't we already have restrictions for what can be put in right of ways?
They may be there, but who's to say that they know that? This is making them aware that,
Okay, I'm not opposed to, I'm just.
yeah, that would be that's my first take on it. It sets a criteria where they're gonna put their sign.
I think, number 7, are we at number 7 there?
Yes, we are at 7.
Is redundant.
No. And the reason I say that, I don't like the word shall there, believe it or not. I think we should replace that with may. Otherwise, it
Right.
sounds to me like
So
it's
it's an absolute-
requiring that the APC approves the plan.
Says it should.
Yes.
It's the office that has to approve the sign plan.
And do you want to leave it at the office or you want to take it to the committee?
No, I don't think it needs to go to the committee. It's just like any other requirement of permitting.
So we want to change that to May?
Yes.
Well, you're going to approve it when you issue a permit. I think shall is correct.
Shall implies that you, regardless, you are going to approve it.
Then you should.
If you put shall in there, shall is there's a legal reason they're using shall.
So
If you put in may, then you may or may not do it.
I see what you're saying is approve or not approve.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, well, I was thinking of not approve, which you didn't even bring it to them.
Well, by putting it as in the office may approve, they may not, if they can look at it, say this doesn't meet our requirements, we are not going to approve.
Shall approve or reject.
Whatever, same thing.
Okay.
And 5
However
and
you want
6,
it- however you
they
want
use
it.
shall. There's shall being used there too, but
There's like I said, there's words have meanings, and shall is a
Must.
legal word.
Yeah, shall is must.
Yes.
So it should be may.
Must approve or reject.
However you
That
want to word
means
it. I'm
they
just
must come from it.
yes. What I'm getting at is the office has the ability to approve or reject. That's all I'm getting at.
Okay. So what do we decide?
Well, if it's may, then they may not even go for an approval.
Right.
Say any sign plans must be presented to the area plan office
Okay.
May.
Well, okay.
for approval or rejection, however you want to word that. On approval.
It's just rewording it.
Just reading it.
Just rewording it.
Yeah, basically, we're giving the power to the office to issue the permit.
Yes.
And we have the requirements that the permit needs to meet
for the sign.
Right.
for the sign, just for the sign.
And you're not going to give them the permit if they don't meet the requirements.
That's right.
Stated in 5 and 6.
So hard.
Okay, so I don't care. You guys make a decision, but we're going to go on to number 8.
Okay. This is the way the sausage is made, right? Okay.
Sometimes well done. Okay. Notification signs required by this section shall be maintained in legible condition until final action has been taken on the application or the proposal has been formally withdrawn. Now, whose responsibility is it to make sure that it's legible condition? Is it theirs or ours? Be theirs.
The developer, owner, developer.
So we need to add that. Developer's responsibility.
Legible condition by developer.
Yes.
Yeah, if they need another one, we'll give them another one, or they're gonna make, is this a sign they get from us, Todd? Or do they make?
They have to make it.
They're gonna make their own.
All right. Okay, so we have gotten through signage. I would open this up to public and we just ask you to keep it contained to this particular section so we can get a couple more pages done here because we have about 45 minutes left.
Hey, before we move on, on number 8. Per the notifications of 5 and 6, it doesn't actually say the sign must be viewable from public right away. Because we want them, if there's a sign, it needs to be able to be viewed, not on private property.
Yes.
If
we're requiring a sign and it's inside the building, that doesn't help anybody on the outside.
Okay,
Okay, so number 4.
Number 4.
Change.
Notification shall be placed along all public roads adjacent to the affected parcels.
Disregard.
You good? Okay. Community members, any comments in regard to signage?
Like, number 4, if we're talking about as big as these things could get, a public road, and if it crosses, I mean, it could be a mile or 2 long, should we put in a stipulation of how many per mile? Like 2 per mile?
Yeah.
I mean, each public road would be, if it's an intersection, you have this road, the east side, and the west side, and the north side.
Is 2
But if
per
it
mile
covers more
enough?
than,
Sounds like a lot.
2 per mile?
Yeah. Well, these are pretty big.
And they're taking up thousands of acres, hundreds of acres.
I mean, the public wants to know how big this is gonna be if someone proposes something, right?
Right. 2 per mile. Is that enough?
But if we're trying to maintain a a countryside perspective, we don't really want a lot of signs, do we?
No.
I think if I was gonna live by one, I'd want the sign.
Well, this is notification of it's coming, right?
Yes.
So they're not permanent signs.
It's there, take it down.
This is just like the notice of public hearing sign. That Todd has in the office.
Yeah.
It's just bigger.
So they're not permanent.
Okay.
2 per mile. Okay, anything else for signage before we go on?
My name's Sherry French, and I was kind of unhappy with you all last time, but now I want to say I'm sorry and thank you for all the hard work that you're doing. I didn't understand what was going on. I thought you were proponents of this center, and now I understand your strategy, and I apologize for my not understanding. But I do want to ask one thing. I make signs. That's what I do part-time. I could make this 30-foot, 32-foot sign, and they could put an 8x10 piece of paper on there. You have to probably say that it needs to be legible for so many square feet, or they can make so many words on it that it's impossible to read going down the road. So I think you need to be specific about the sign, because to put up a 32-foot area sign and put a notice this big, nobody's going to read it unless they stop and get out of their car. So
Number 7,
yeah, I read that. I didn't understand it that way.
we would have to approve the sign plan.
Okay. That's fine.
Am I
Yeah.
out of line?
No.
Okay, I guess I didn't understand it that way.
And maybe, but do we want to, I think what Sherry suggested, maybe we want to set some criteria here for the size of the sign.
Well, it needs to be legible from
Not less than?
so many feet. I think that's the answer, because like I said, you can make them build that sign and they could just put an 8x10 piece of paper up there, and they can tell you that this is what we're going to post, but they don't say how big it's going to read, so they could just post that piece of paper and and they can make the sign white and put a white piece of paper and put it in an 8-point font, and nobody's going to know what it says even if they stop to read it. So I think you have to have some, even though you're saying you have to prove the sign, you have to prove the size of the sign too.
Does public notice signs have any requirements like that?
No.
Okay.
So I think number 8.
We provide the sign,
Oh,
right? But I think the verbiage that was just suggested is excellent. That it
no,
is-
I was just going to ask if the county has something that they use for public notice signs.
No.
Okay.
Distance that we want it to be legible.
All right, that's what I have to figure out.
50 feet?
Yes.
I think you'd want to see a drawing to scale to approve it.
Signs about the size behind you guys would work probably, then people would notice. Like your map there, people would see that.
4x8.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
32 was figured on that.
4x8. And then, I think
In legible 50 feet.
a proof, is that what you were suggesting, Ed? An approved proof of the sign?
Yeah.
Approved proof of the sign. In their sign plan. You good with that, Secretary Clancy?
Yes.
All right. Any other sign comments? Thank you, Sherry. Okay, so we are going to move to letter J on page 14, pre-application public informational meeting. So prior to filling any application for a special exception, a data center, the applicant should conduct at least one public informational meeting in Grant County for the purpose of presenting the proposed project to the public and receiving public comment.
Pretty standard currently.
Is that standard, Todd, do you believe, or is that sufficient? One?
I think it ought to be at least 2.
I think probably 2. That gives somebody the opportunity to have a conflict to make the second one. Now, I haven't read through this. Is there criteria for advertising this?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So we're going to change at least 1 to 2. That means that you folks will have the opportunity before it goes.
So 1 to 2 public hearings.
We're changing 1 to 2. Shall conduct at least 2 public informational meetings. Kale, you okay with that word shall?
It also shall be posted in a public venue, not a private venue.
Okay, is that in here somewhere? Where would that fit?
Maybe 4. Just shoot from the hip.
Okay, well, let's just go down through and see if we can find that. Kale, hang on to that idea.
Number 5A get to that point.
Okay, well, let's do number 2. The public informational meeting required by this section is intended solely as a pre-application transparency and information step and shall not replace, limit, or satisfy the statutory public hearing requirements acceptable to the special exception process. We definitely want that in there so nobody claims this to be their public hearing. The public informational meeting shall be held not less than 30 days before the filing of the special exception application unless a different period is approved by the executive director for good cause shown. Now, if we're going to have 2 special meetings, do we need to change that wording?
Yeah, because we're gonna have a rezoning meeting, and it's a public hearing.
For high impact.
Yeah, for the high impact zone.
Do we want to do one for both? Public meetings like this, one for the HI?
They're different.
Well, just more opportunities to tell the public what's going on.
You are saying have one joint meeting?
No, I'm saying have 2 meetings for the zoning change and also 2 meetings for the special exception.
2 public hearings.
No, public meetings. We're not going to call them
No,
public hearings.
these are public meetings, just informational meetings.
Informational
So
public.
it'd be 4 meetings total and it'd be really spread out in time
Yeah.
because they'd have 2 before for the zoning change and then another 2 for the special exception.
I think so. That gives us plenty of time to make sure everybody's aware of what's going on in the county.
Can we require them to address all unincorporated town boards to do the advertisement or whatever for the public meetings? I mean,
all on us.
You get into a tricky area there. You could have them come to the town boards and the town board can hear their requests, but the town board is not allowed to make a recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals. The town board members are allowed to come to those meetings and speak as members of the public. But a prior recommendation to a BZA is not allowed by anyone.
I was more looking for the publicity of the upcoming meeting. But is that what you're addressing?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you have a meeting, then it's a public meeting, but then you can't send like a written or verbal recommendation to the BZA. I mean, it's been several years, but we had to stop the commissioners from recommending outcomes to the Board of Zoning Appeals because it was against state law.
I think
It was
what,
in our area-wide zoning ordinance. We just didn't.
I think what
understand.
Bud's saying is if the meeting is there, could Todd or somebody let the town boards know so that they could share it with their town communities?
Yeah, I would,
Yeah.
I would like to.
Just the meeting,
I'd like
the
to have the
information meeting.
advertisement of that meeting that is going to take place, is all.
Just transparency between
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
the town board and the area plan office.
yes. A lot of people will tune in to a town board meeting because it affects their area directly, but
Can the,
So it would be within a distance of a couple of miles of the town. Less likely it's going to build right in a town, but it could affect the town by building nearby, within 2 miles. There's a, there are some, I can't remember the exact code now, but there is a little code about something happening right outside of town within a mile. You have some say in that,
That's right.
And who is you?
the town.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant by you,
Right.
it's the town.
Because it limits your ability to expand.
Right.
It has the potential to limit a town's ability to expand.
I would put a 3-mile setback in here, I think, for cities and towns. I don't think did we get to that yet?
We're not there
I
yet.
don't think we did get to that one. Yeah, we may
Talked
want to
about
talk about that a little more.
Okay, so I think what Bud's asking is could small towns be at least advised because the meetings, inform the meetings are going to occur? I think that can happen.
Do we want to put a distance in that or say all small towns?
Any,
I like all small towns.
Right, within the setback of a municipality. Could we have a municipal
adjacent
setback?
small towns to the development.
I mean, this is their responsibility. I wouldn't think it'd be too hard. What do we have? How many towns do we have in the county? Send a notice to the town board, all the towns.
Right. That's what Bud's suggesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that good?
it's good.
Good. Headshake. Good.
Okay,
So where are we?
towns that are members of area two.
Right.
Okay.
Is ready number 3? Okay, you're going to do 4 meetings, right, Todd? You're going to
Yes.
insert that somewhere.
Yes.
BBC? Yep. BZA. Okay. We're ready for number 4?
So the days in this, they're basic days of notification. I think the big placeholder number is, the property owners to be notified within 1,000 feet is in here. I think that's just a placeholder number. I mean,
Very few people get the newspaper.
I changed that to 3 mile on number 4.
okay.
On 4B.
Yes.
Yes.
4B.
3 miles, does that sound?
Yes. Is that enough? Or we want to go further than that?
That could be a lot.
Huh?
That could be a lot of homes.
That could be a lot of homes.
Yeah.
Is that enough?
Oh, I think it's enough.
Okay.
Does anybody else think more or less?
Only by Gray County.
I'm fine with 3 miles.
Okay.
And then the same certified letter system that we have for our current BZA and APC, not certified letters.
Well, can we require the applicant to pay for that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to require the return receipt or
Yeah, the return, well, if you do the return receipt, I'm afraid,
not all of them get delivered?
yeah,
Because you're having better luck with our new system, correct? What we're
I
doing
think
now?
so.
Okay, that works then.
Which is,
Which is a certified list, so it's not certified mail where there's a card that comes back. Because those cards, if you go to court with those cards, they're not all filled out correctly. So they're, from a court standpoint, they're kind of meaningless. And for the ones that come back that are filled out correctly, the percent is really low, like 20%.
okay.
That's correct. And then they don't get delivered because that is another bar that the delivery men have to actually do. You go back a couple of times and then, so what we do now, yeah, so what we do now is I take them to the post office, we get a list and that they were mailed at the post office.
Okay,
And then it just goes regular mail.
sure.
So we were holding something, Kale, for you, right? I lost track of what it was, but
The actual location of meetings needs to be in a public venue.
Yes.
What I don't want to happen is people inevitably getting wound up during these meetings and then all of a sudden the private venue owner asks them to leave, because it will happen.
okay. So that probably goes under number 4 then, right? Because it talks about the public informational meeting shall.
Meeting number 6.
Just add E.
Add an E. Public venue. You good with that, Todd?
To 4?
Yes.
Be F. Venue.
Has to be a public venue. Can't be a garbage that can chase people away.
You have any, if you come up with specific wording for that, email it to me.
Public venue.
Okay. Okay.
Hold that, public venue.
Now,
They can't throw you out.
one thing, if I was proposing a data center and I had to be at a public venue, I would want it the smallest place possible with the least amount of seats. So I don't know how to do this, but it needs to be able to accommodate
Mm-hmm.
a large number of people. Because
High school gym.
High school gym.
well, we can't require a school to be a public venue, right?
So the way I'll word it is it has to accommodate the people. If it comes that night and they cannot accommodate it, it doesn't count.
It needs to be at a place.
So they'll have to then have 3 meetings,
They have to.
right? They'll have to do another meeting. Right? If they can't account for,
I know what you're saying, but I don't know. Yes, you, okay, sure.
I think that works.
Yeah.
I'll pressure test it.
All right. Number 5. Bottom of page 14. Everybody okay with that notice? What it should include?
I'm good with 5.
We go to 5, moving to 6.
I don't like the wording of G.
You don't like the wording of G?
I don't like the word opportunity. I think, and I'm not proposing a certain time or length, but I don't think there should be an opportunity for public comment. I think there should be a required set time that they must hear public comment. So I don't know if
The
that's
public
shutting- I don't
will be given, or will shall be allowed to ask questions and provide comments on unlimited.
I don't know. Yeah.
I didn't say unlimited.
3 minutes per speaker.
Yeah, we don't want to filibuster. Again, I'm not proposing a time, but I think we have to require time set aside for public comment. And none of this, like what happened at Fowlerton, where we're just gonna shut everything down because people don't want it, or whatever, you know what I mean?
You want to word it, Gail?
Todd, can you email me and I'll think about it?
Okay. Okay.
So this is all.
I mean, we want a lot of time, but we don't want to go unlimited.
Yeah, we don't want like 5 hours, but maybe 5 hours, I don't know. But it needs to be a reasonable amount of time for people to express their opinions.
Kale will propose.
Sure, I'll come up with something.
All right.
Remind me.
The rest of number 6, okay?
Yes.
How about number 7?
To do what with?
What's a F? Looking at 7F. Any responses provided by the applicant at the meeting or afterward? Why would you have them afterward?
To answer questions that they.
After the meeting?
Yeah. I assume they'll, we're going to have comments and questions. They may not have the answers right there. They can.
Oh, so that's like, we'll get back to you later on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that. It could be okay.
This entire.
Could be just something, a way to duck a question.
All of number 7, it's fine and dandy to have them prepare a written summary, but you gotta require them to give it to you?
Yeah, who does it go to?
Yes, who does it go to?
Okay. I think, I'm not sure, I know they'll find it quickly. This is part of the application, right? So they go to have the application for the special exception. They need to bring the written summary for these informational meetings.
In order for the application to be complete.
Right. And then the BZA members will have comments from 4 different meetings to be able to peruse through what the public really wants.
So the applicant shall prepare a written summary of the public informational meeting presented to.
In the application.
Presented to the application taker or whoever, presented to whoever before an application is accepted.
So the applicant shall prepare a written summary to the area planning commission.
Yeah, I think that's not clear.
To the area planning commission of the public informational meeting.
Yes.
Agreed?
Yes. Anything else on 7? Number 8.
And what about F? You still hung up on F? On number 7?
No, I suppose I'm okay with it.
All right.
I just don't want them ducking questions in the meeting with an I'll get back to you or.
Oh, I see where you're coming, yeah.
That's what the summary's for.
Yeah, if there's something they truly can't answer,
Right.
then they could research it and put it in the summary, but again, it's not like the summary goes to public unless somebody wants to see it, right? Or goes to the APC and the BZA.
All right, give us something. Okay, we're going to open up letter J to public comment. Anybody? Pre-application public informational meeting?
Yeah, that's right. It's right there in 8.
Before we do that, Todd, go ahead. It'll be quick. Todd, can we move number 8 to basically just under J? Say no applications shall be considered unless all of the below are presented to the area plan office. That way they know, I mean, when they're reading
Okay.
this, it's up front. They know what the requirements are.
I agree with that.
Make it number 1.
So J, number 1, would be number 8.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so just no, I'm sorry. To answer your question then, as the BZA looks at, for the special exception, and they've ducked a bunch of questions, I'm hoping the BZA at the time will go, that's a negative on your part if you've ducked a lot of questions.
Come back when you can answer it.
Yeah, yeah,
Would want those answers right then in that public hearing.
right. Okay.
All right, so that's all good. Regarding J1 on the venue, is there any way you can put in your wording that it has to provide a minimum seating required for, and also the location needs to be in that community? Because if you're vague, they might say, okay, we're going to put it somewhere in Kokomo. It's a public meeting. And there's some folks that won't be able to make it Kokomo, It's like, it has to be, these public meetings have to be located somewhere in Grant County. And the amount of space has to be provided, like 250, 500, whatever may be space. I mean, this would suck. They try to,
I think just the word adequate.
Adequate's vague.
Well,
Adequate's like him saying.
Or the opposition.
You know what we could put in here, be approved by the APC before conducted.
The venue.
It does have it in here in Grant County.
Okay.
Meeting in.
Thank you.
Where?
Let's add that it has to be approved by the APC. Director.
I'm still at, I'd word it in, if that night, that venue is not appropriate, and people can't fit in and can't hear, they gotta hold another one.
I agree.
Okay.
But you want to.
Because it's difficult. You don't know how many people are gonna show up.
Well, if it's like other counties, sometimes there's a lot of people show up.
Mm-hmm. I don't wanna put that on the office to say, oh, this is okay,
No,
and then too many people show up. Basically, you'd need to have more meetings
yeah,
until everybody's
So you
satisfied.
think that's going to cover it?
I think so.
The only inconvenience would be to everybody made an effort to get there. Now they got to come back.
Right.
That's where that's a wrinkle, but
my hope is that other people would hear about that meeting and attend the next one.
Right.
I think you should have it in a big venue like High School Gymnasium, or Gas City Performing Arts Center. I don't know how many it holds.
Well, how do you word that is the question.
Yeah, a large enough venue.
Gas
To
City.
put it on them. I guess that's where I'm trying to come from, is how do we put it on them to make sure that it's
We
right
can't,
and
we
not.
can't require them to have it at a specific venue.
Yeah, but we place it on their responsibility that it's adequate, but not be vague. That's your point, not
That's
be
my
vague.
concern, the adequate's like, to them, adequate might be here. Like this gentleman said, small as possible.
Yeah, if it's not big enough, well, you're gonna have another one.
Gas City building would work. It holds a lot of people. Right, it takes a phone call to the
Yes,
mayor.
that's fine, but we can't require
Right, they
them
can't require
to
that.
pick a specific, the government cannot pick winners and losers, and that falls under that. We can't require them to use a specific thing, just big enough for everybody. That is vague, but it allows them to choose whatever appropriate means.
Can you give a minimal amount of seating? And then,
Yeah, I don't care.
you can like sit down like a minimal amount of seating on what the average meetings you can look at that's been happening
for that.
for the population.
I think
For data centers?
I think adequate covers it.
Okay.
Okay, we got adequate. And on paragraph 6, concern is, they're talking about public information meetings shall include all about the project. What about the housing of all the out-of-state construction workers? Should that not be put in there? Are they gonna be putting trailers all along the parking lots out there? Because we don't have a whole lot of motels. They're gonna overload the hotels because most of those workers are not local because they're specialized for those facilities. And on top of that, if they're anything like I was, a young Marine with spending money, they're gonna be hitting the bars when they can, and then you're gonna have some public issues. So I know you can't require that, but as far as housing, they're gonna have to explain how they're gonna house these folks, because should they not? I mean, is there any way you can?
I don't think they do have to.
So they're not, we couldn't put in there that they're gonna have to explain how they're gonna house their people, like, are they gonna put trailers all through a parking lot or anything?
I don't think we should, because then we'll get to the point of, what are we allowing them to eat? What are we allowing them to drink?
Well, no, I'm not talking about those guys going out.
I know, but we're going down a rabbit hole that we don't need to go down.
Okay, so the housing doesn't matter then, so,
About a
okay,
third of them will come in campers.
that's, okay.
That's just like any other project.
We don't have campers.
We don't have campground space.
Sorry, that was just a thought that
I understand what you're saying,
but I see what you're saying, there's a lot of civil liberties and stuff like that, I appreciate that too.
Spent a year in campground.
Well, that was my points.
Wintertime.
Good point.
Our campgrounds are pretty full in this county.
They'll take up anything, mobile homes, the spots, they'll rent them out.
Yeah, we need to make an ordinance change because we don't allow RVs in mobile home parks.
I just have a question about number 4. It said notice section B, mail notice to adjacent property owners to all property owners within 1,000 feet of the project boundary. I think it needs to be further than
We
that.
change that to 3 mile.
Okay, I think he should. Yeah. That doesn't sound very much.
Well, to that point, I think all adjacent property owners is redundant because they will be covered within the 3 miles
Okay,
for Todd.
that's fine.
Yes, the adjacent property owner part of that.
So just take out the adjacent property owners and put
Yeah.
just
To all adjacent property owners. All property owners. 3 miles.
Just take out adjacent
Okay.
within 3 miles. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Michael.
Good evening, Michael Duke, Grant County, also a member of the BCA. Just in general, in reference to Section J, I think this is a very wise provision to have into the ordinance, and I would say if I had a wish list, it would be that the influential members of the leadership positions of the incorporated communities like Marion and Gas City were wise enough to be addressing the best kept public secret in Grant County in such a way as to bring publicity onto the possibility and the context of any data center issues or data center projects that are being contemplated behind their closed doors. Thank you, gentlemen.
Any other comments on pre-application public informational meeting?
Hi, my name is Bill Creech, and I'm from Marion. And I just want to start off by saying I am opposed to data centers, so what I say, don't be taken the wrong way. The point that I want to know is, has anybody researched from the data centers themselves on what the positives that they're saying, the selling points that they're selling to these other communities to try to influence these people to allow them to come in? Having that information up front, maybe you could educate the public on what might be said and go out and be aggressive to counter any points or work into these ordinances some of the points that they're selling to communities. Obviously, some of these communities are getting them or considering them, so there has to be some selling points, okay? There has to be features that they're saying, and features tell and benefits sell. So what are the features and what are they?
I think it's dollars, Bill.
Huh?
I think it's dollars.
I know,
It's the money.
but if they are just strictly money, then you can counter that with, that they're not, it's upfront money, but they're getting all the tax abatements, they're getting all the incentives and all those types of things. So a positive point and a counterpoint, positive point, counterpoint. I'm just saying if you can kind of put some of that together and think about that to help out with, and I think, in those sessions that they have, just some information, because you can sell a lot of people on some good things, and obviously there's some municipalities that are being sold on it, and I know it's the big dollar sign and it's the upfront, but that money's going to run out, and you're not going to get the tax base that you thought you were going to get from it, and it's just going to be a drain on the resources and everybody involved. So that's all. Just
Well said.
Anyone else before we move on to property value guarantees? Okay, we got about 10 minutes. You guys think we can do property value guarantees? All right, we're going to do property value guarantees.
We shall.
Shall.
I'm going to tattoo that on my forehead for the next meeting.
All right, we're on K, page 15. Three miles enough?
No. 5. Your language is
5. I heard 5.
6, 10. As the crow flies or by road?
Well, and remember, we're not voting on this. This is going to come back up to the complete APC again.
Right.
So,
Right. Yes.
How do we enforce this? Not just how do we enforce this? How do we even make this possible? How can we make them give us a property value guarantee?
we lay it out there, and from the way it's worded, and then we'll know if it gets challenged. And so if it gets challenged, and then if we win the challenge. And then you can do the calculations on the probability of success. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I've analyzed it.
Is this a solar property value?
You see where I'm going?
I see what you're saying, but I don't know how this could possibly work. I don't disagree with the premise of it, but as far as doing it in real life, I don't see how it's possible.
We're not going to worry about that. It's in many ordinances today, and as Todd indicated, it becomes a challenge. It'll be a legal matter.
And the Court of Appeals in Indiana has agreed that these devalue properties near them. So there's no dispute about whether or not a property is devalued near a facility like this.
Did the Court of Appeals offer a suggestion?
And the Supreme Court refused to take up the appeal. And that was by a solar company, Invenergy. When they were building the Lone Oak Solar Farm in Madison County. So the Supreme Court held that property values are diminished if they're nearby a solar farm. And we kind of think this is worse than a solar farm because of the noise factor. And, if you're for clean water and clean air, then you've got to be against these. So these have more negatives than a solar farm.
And that 3 miles, is that a radius from the property line, or how do you draw that line?
Straight line from the data center project boundaries.
Okay.
So wherever their boundaries are, their property lines.
3 miles.
5 miles. Well, we're gonna put in 5
Okay.
at this point.
And I think that the comma and then the last wording there, that unless a different distance is established by future ordinance amendment, I think that needs taken out.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we've made that statement today a couple times. That kind of wording throughout this draft needs to be removed.
Right.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay. But it's good to point it out every time. That's fine.
Anything else? Number 2, okay? Do we need 2 appraisers enough?
Well, don't you want to say that which price they have to go with? Can the citizen go with the higher price, the homeowner? If it's not specific, then they're going to get the lower price.
She's come up.
So I think what you're saying is on number 3, where it gives the developer the option of either paying the difference or buying the property, we want to give the owner that decision?
I would think so. They probably didn't want to move, but now they're being forced to.
So they would want the most money for having to leave.
They wouldn't have to leave.
Appraiser instead of their appraiser?
But it said agreed by both parties, I think, though, didn't it?
They can make, so you.
So in number 2, do you want to do an average or median between the 2 appraisals?
Yes.
Average or median? Median?
Let's do the highest.
Or just do the highest? We can do that.
Highest between the 2.
Highest of the 2.
Highest of the 2. Everybody okay with number 2? Okay, number 3.
Well, it says prior to construction. So you would have to move before construction begins?
Come up front.
You want to come up front or you want to wait till after?
No, never mind.
Okay, yeah. Subcommittee, let's get through this, then we're going to open it up to the public. Is that okay? Yep. I'm not going to meet my timeline, you guys got to forgive me. And we're close. Okay, subcommittee, other comments?
Okay. Listen, Diana, it says prior to construction, so that means the homeowner has to make that decision before they even start construction on that data center, correct?
Well, they have to get their fair market value established.
So you have to decide before it's even put up whether it's going to be a deterrence to you or not.
After it's put up, then it's definitely going to have a lower value. So you want to establish that value before it's put up.
Right.
Before the influence of the project impacts your house.
But doesn't that enforce you to move?
No.
Before it's even built?
To stay.
Yeah, go to number 3, read number 3, and come back after for the public comment. Do we, baseline fair market value is fine, but do we want to add any stipulation
Yeah, after
for?
construction, after construction, okay.
A stipulation for.
My apologies.
That's okay.
Inflation.
Put an inflation adjustment.
An inflation adjustment.
Annually.
Well, I don't know, if, whenever, I guess.
At this rate, it'll just go up every year.
If it's 10 years from now and they decide to sell, the fair market value is gonna be way higher than it was anyways, just based on the standard housing market. So baseline, Randy, help me out here with the, I'm lost on the terminology. Buy a piece of ground, you have a set price, you want to sell it, capital gains, not capital gains, what,
Capital gains would be the increase in its value from the time you bought it to the
stepped up basis.
Fair market.
Maybe I'm
I'm not familiar with step basis.
If your home's worth 200K now, 10 years from now, it would be worth 300. You're not gonna want the base market value before construction.
So we just need to put a clause in there that says that the appraisal needs to follow the inflation, annual inflation.
Yeah, so if, after the, let me come back to that. I need to think about that some more.
And for inflation is what you're talking about, right?
Yes, ultimately, yes.
And we're talking number 2. Putting that in there.
It also ties in number 3, though, also.
Does it give the property owner the right to make the decision versus the developer? Or are we just gonna say the highest of the two, or whichever?
Highest of the 2 for number 2?
Now, no, number 3 bothers me where it says that the developer shall either.
It's that shall again.
Shall either pay the affected property owner the difference between the baseline fair market or value and demonstrate or buy the property. I think the homeowner should make that decision whether they want to sell. As I read that, it acts like the developer gets to make that decision. Isn't it?
I would agree.
It also needs to be the data center owner operator. You don't want to be misunderstood as the
I
property.
want the homeowner to be able to make the decision whether they sell their house or whether they take the adjusted value, not the developer.
And baseline fair market value at time of sale.
Following inflation.
Well, at time of sale, would adjust for inflation. As for subsection 1 and 2, I guess.
That makes sense, Todd? Number 3, bottom.
Yeah, because the way it's worded now, it does not give the homeowner.
I want the homeowner to be able to make that decision.
I agree.
That's right above the last.
I'm with you.
Okay.
And still, we're good with those 2 options, right?
Yeah.
But the homeowner decides.
Yes.
Both 1 and 2 needs to be a stipulation at time of sale. Market value at time of sale. Well, I guess we want to take out baseline, because if they're gonna sell it 5 years down the road, they're not gonna want to sell it at baseline. They're gonna want to sell it at.
That's what we're establishing.
Baseline adjusted for inflation.
Yes.
You could include in there that they have to be living in the residence and then sell it to them. They can no longer live there because you can't keep a house for 5 years thinking you're gonna get a payoff. Or have lived in it with a certain amount of time, within a certain amount of time.
Are you guys with her?
Not necessarily.
No, not me.
Somebody owned a house out there.
Somebody owns
and sit
property and
vacant.
Hold your thoughts, let's get through this section first.
You guys just sit tight. Let us kind of burn through it, and then we're going to give you the opportunity to fill in our gaps. Okay, on number 5, we're going to take out the letter of credit, blah, blah, blah.
And I think the 3 miles, I mean, shouldn't we make that 5?
Yeah. Did make that 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
On number 5. Yeah.
Okay, yes. No, we didn't yet, but we are now. Thanks,
Right.
Nolan.
Because that lines up
Yes.
with where we changed 5
Yes.
to 5. You catch that, Todd?
Yep.
Good.
where did 3% of the assessed value come from?
You add up all those assessed values, and it's proven decreases in property value. You get out 3 miles, you may not be able to prove a decrease. If you're in closer, there may be a decrease. So and the closer you are, the decrease is greater. So the person who
maybe hurt
put this
themselves with
together
5.
Thought 3% would work based on how properties decline the further away they get. The decline becomes very minimal. Now, you put it out 5 miles, you're going to have a much larger bond required, which may be fine, but your chances of giving a property value guarantee for somebody 4 or 5 miles away is going to be almost zero.
So you think
you'll have less risk because you'll have a bigger pool of funds to work with. But anyway, the person that wrote this felt by their analysis that 3% would cover the average decline in property value.
So what's your suggestion then?
I think we're shooting ourselves in the foot at 5 mile?
No, I think you're actually getting a bigger pool. Okay. Because people 4 and 5 miles out probably aren't going to get anything.
So you think that property value loss will vary the greater distance away?
Yeah. The greater distance you are away, you'll have less sound. And we're saying at the property line, you're going to have negligible sound. So you're going to have sight, you're going to have possible impacts of, maybe your well runs dry. Maybe those things happen. Shouldn't happen with a closed loop system, but you know what I mean. The person who designed this wasn't demanding a closed loop system. So the impacts to water could be much greater.
What is the purpose of number 5?
So if the company goes, go ahead.
Pool of funds to work with. It has to be established.
It makes the developer have the money to be able to pay the homeowner for the loss in value.
Yeah.
It assures that.
Sure. But then why are we capping it? If they're only going to have a bond for 3%, they're going to be like, oh, your house devalued by 15%, you're getting 3. Sucks to be you.
No, you're not getting 3. You're getting what is devalued. If you're getting a big devalue, you're close. But if you're far away, you're not getting a big devaluation of your property. So the person who wrote this figured that 3% of all those homes would cover it.
No,
The question is that good analysis or not?
I'm talking about the specific verbiage of this. The owner of data center shall provide a bond in an amount equal to whatever percentage of the assessed value
of all properties.
Yes, and then do what with it though? It doesn't say what to do with it.
It doesn't say in 5, but it does in others here.
Right.
It's basically just a bond.
No, but a bond for what though?
To make it covers the value of all those homes in that 5 mile radius. In the event that there's a loss, the money is there to pay the homeowner.
So it's number 6B, the property buyouts required under this section. And A, payment of proven decreases in property value.
Then I think number 6 should be 5A and then subsections after that then.
Well, it's like which first, the chicken or the egg? I mean, you've got to establish the fund first too before you can pay out.
Let's get through the content. Don't worry about the numbering at this point.
I'm not a lawyer, but I play one on the internet.
And I told you last time, we're not paying you, so let's get through this.
Still not paid. He thought he was gonna get paid this time.
Let's not worry about the number. Let's get through this. We'll figure out where it goes somewhere else, but let's make sure it's here.
So, just to address the 3%, I have a note here, and I will work on whether 3% is appropriate or not, and like show the math.
Okay.
Okay?
Fair. And then,
And because it may not be, 3% may not be the number we need, but I think we need some analysis behind that to put a number in there and not guess at it.
and then again, number 5, the comma, and then unless the board or future ordinance amendment is out, that can be taken out.
Okay. Got it?
KLIC, where 6 could be 5A, okay, that explains what that's for. I'm with you. All right.
Number 6, let's talk about number 6.
You got that part, Todd?
Shall remain in effect for the life of the project. I think maybe people should decide whether they want to exercise the property value guarantee or not within a period of years. And it shouldn't just be open-ended for the life of the project. Well, I put up here and lived with this for 15 years, but now I want to move. And I want compensated. I think there's a reasonable expectation you ought to be able to do that within a few years, maybe a couple of years. And then we're done with this liability situation.
As far as us holding accountability
Yes.
for the company.
And holding the financial 3%.
So that would be a deterrent for the company, though, for them to be required to do that.
Well,
it would be what now?
It will be a deterrent. The company's going to have to hang on to that security bond, right? For the length of the project, or for the
area planners, or the county's going to have to hang on to the money.
Can we earn any interest?
Not going to earn any on a surety bond, but.
Okay. Okay, just.
That's just issued by an insurance company.
You want the affected landowners to be, that's my money and I need it now, kind of.
Yeah, I want them
Get
to
it paid
decide, in a reasonable time period. No, I can't stand living next to this, I'm moving.
What would that time period be?
Well, if you haven't figured that out in a couple of years, what are you waiting on?
5.
I know, it's just
5 years?
5 years.
5 years.
Secretary?
I mean, may I disagree?
You may.
So, like, now that we'll use the Dana plant as an example because it's defunct. A lot of people didn't realize what it was going to be until it was gone. I mean, is there a bigger property value decrease for something that starts to dilapidate and fall apart or have issues? I mean, we're doing all we can to make sure there are no issues. But if there are issues 15, 20 years down the road, and then it causes an issue to really decrease the property values,
then we may not be able to cover it.
Yeah, I mean, if if it really goes south, the 3% may not.
Like they poison all the water?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
And the 3% of the baseline, and then 30 years later after inflation, there's not going to be enough money there anyway. You're right.
Fix that kind of problem.
I'll be bankrupt anyhow.
I mean, that's another reason for saying you ought to settle up pretty soon, people, because what if things go bust?
Yeah.
Is it closed up?
5 years. All right.
Worst.
5 years.
Overtime, folks.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? We're going to open this up to the public.
7's good?
7's not good.
Okay.
That's just, it gives the board an awful lot of responsibility there that should just,
Again, is board, BCA board, is that what the board?
yeah, that'd be the BZA board. The board may require such additional documentation valuation methodology, claim procedures, deadlines, or dispute resolution provisions as are necessary to administer this section.
So take number 7 out.
No, hold on.
That's a lot.
No, it's not. It doesn't have to be. By leaving it as board may require, you don't have to exercise those rights. But in case you want to,
That's where the may word fits, as Kale's saying.
yep.
No shall.
And it may.
You don't have to do it ever, but if you want to do it, you want it in there,
That
right?
can of worms. You know, I don't know.
We're going to come back and revisit this in our next meeting.
Number 7.
Yeah.
Property value guarantees, period.
All right.
All right, so we're going to close this. Subcommittee members, we're going to open this to the public. Yes, ma'am, please come up.
So I'm not really clear on this. If you live farther out, your valuation is different. How is that if the language says it's 3 miles?
If you're 3 miles out, that's just the distance that they're going to have. But we changed that to 5 miles.
But
Okay.
how would your valuation be different?
Well, chances are your assessed value won't be impacted if you're 5 miles away. Because one,
But
you
if
can't
the
hear it.
ordinance says 5
see
miles, don't legally you have to, aren't you bound to that?
What do you mean?
If the ordinance says 5 miles,
Yes.
it doesn't matter if you're impacted. If you make that
No,
decision
it
that
doesn't
you want
matter
to.
if you're impacted, because that's what you're asking for. It's the difference between
So who
what you lost.
determines if you're impacted?
Well, you get it appraised.
Yeah, unfortunately, the appraiser gets to decide
Whether you're impacted?
whether you're, at what degree you're impacted, the further you are away. Obviously, the appraiser is going to look at, well, this guy's right next to it. His house,
A house appraiser gets to determine how you feel like this is affecting your health, your drinking water, your everyday life.
It's property value only.
But that would be the only reason you would be leaving your home, is if it affected those types of things.
And that's the reason why nobody else wants to buy it.
because of the risks that you
Because of
just mentioned.
those.
I feel like it's not clear enough
No.
for that. But one other
You
thing I
have it
did,
appraised before the thing is built. Okay, this house with this view, nice, this is what it's worth. And after that thing is built, it's appraised again.
So
Oh,
are
this
you gonna-
house, but this across the road?
who's gonna pay for all
location is
those
everything in real estate.
appraisals for all those houses within a 3-mile radius? Or 5, who's gonna pay for that?
They have to,
Company.
the company.
So they're gonna come to my house and say, I'm going to pick this appraiser and this appraiser. Do you approve of them?
That's right. And if you
And what
don't
if I say
approve of
no?
them, you would say, no, I want this appraiser, because it has to be agreed to.
So I can choose my own.
Yes.
We're not taking any
Yeah.
powers away from you. We have no desire to take powers or decisions away from you, the homeowner.
It says in
Okay, I
there,
understand.
it has to be acceptable to both parties.
Another question I had is there any language in here that provides for them to, if there's any environmental impacts that will clean up, water, nature,
Yes, it's in there.
that they have to pay for that? And they have to get it done within a specific period of time?
It's a few pages back.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, sorry.
That's okay.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay, thank you.
Hello,
Ryan.
Ryan Howell, live in Marion, Indiana. And I just have a few things I want to talk about. The pluses of data centers is construction jobs, tax revenue, infrastructure improvements for the vicinity to support the data center. Data centers could attract technology-related businesses. The minuses of a data center is few permanent jobs, high electricity demand, water usage, tax breaks for the data center, land use concerns, and noise. For Marion and Grant County, how many permanent jobs will be created? How much water will the facility use? How much electricity will it require? What tax incentives are being offered? How much local tax revenue will remain after those incentives? There may be studies to determine how much electricity and water will be used. Perhaps if we have more than enough water, even during a severe drought, you could downsize to a medium-sized data center. I believe we have an aquifer, the Tees Aquifer is what they call it, underneath, that runs right underneath the Grant County. And that the max capacity is, I think, 12 million gallons a day. I'm not for or against data centers. I'm just putting this out there. I'm for business. I'm a conservative kind of guy, and I just want to make public statements. I mean, for you know, if anybody in Indianapolis is listening to this, maybe they need to open up some more coal plants. I know they closed some down due to regulation in Indiana. Maybe if they open them up and plug them into the system or the grid, they could increase power supply, clean coal. And thanks. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Anyone else? Yes, please.
Get out of Dodge.
What?
Oh, that's my sheet. Back to number 6, where you went from the financial assurance from the life of the project to 5 years. My only concern is if it came about, are we looking at how we talk about how many of these data centers are being built? That bubble's going to burst, because then they're going to devalue soon. And then what happens if, so the person don't want to sell the property, but the community is stuck in 10 years with an empty building with, material that's probably damaging. Is there any way we can maybe recommend 10 years or something? Because really, if you look at it, the AI bubble, just like the housing bubble, it's just overloading right now. And that building they built out there, taking 2 years to build, it might be only functional for 8 years. And then we got this big old white elephant sitting out there. And then you're still going to lose even more property value when you got a big empty building. So is there any way you can maybe look at, instead of 5 years or to 10 years on that recommendation?
There's language in here proposing a bond to cover decommissioning.
Okay, I missed that. I apologize.
It's further on. We haven't got to it yet.
Oh, okay. I got to that part. All right, I think this my time.
But I think what Ed's point was, if we make it too long and then the bottom does fall out, there won't be any money left in that security bond to pay anyone.
Oh, I see what you're saying, because it's going out to people already straight out. And
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
And that's why we took that 5-mile radius, so we can collect more money into the bond, even though those people at 5 Mile may not have a loss, but at least we've collected that money for those who would have a property value loss.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate that he said there's more in here for me to read and stuff there. Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Come back. Appreciate you. Yes. Anyone else?
Dave Jones. I'd say just add in on renewing the bond for future expansion. So renew the.
So in the event that they would grow, we would want more money.
Because there's quite a few of them. Like I know there's like one in Texas that's expanding up to like 50 cogen power plants.
Do we have limited expansion in here?
Well,
I think we
I'm
do.
gonna put that down.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you. We need limited expansion.
Put a cap.
Either that or, even if there is an acceptable expansion to renew the appraisal and renew the bonds.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think we did touch on that in the first meeting, some sort of expansion.
Anyone else? Sounded like we just got some raindrops out there.
A lot of it sound like.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. Your input's been very important and very valued by us, the subcommittee, and we will definitely have another meeting because we are just on page 16 of 37. So please come back and join us for the next one.
Do we want to set one?
We can. You want to set one?
3, 4.
You guys
I mean, stay away from council meeting.
We'll post it. Let's check the availability of this.
Okay.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.
Time to get out of Dodge. Tomato film.
Severe thunderstorm warning.
Sure.
Figured out.